396 down and 68 meg up.
Hey guys, I'm Chris from the Silver Symbol channel, and in today's video I'm going to finally reveal a full network tour. I live in New Hampshire and it's certainly picturesque here, but many parts like my area do not have any good types of cabled internet. Now where I live, there is nothing more here than power from the town. Last year I made a video where I documented the installation of my Starlink tower and also discussed my T-Mobile setup. But the challenge is, how do you connect everything together? What kind of router do you use? Along with an affordable network that gives me both Wi-Fi, internet throughout my property. Today I can get between 300 and 400 meg down and about 20 to 40 meg up. Really doesn't feel any different than when I used to have Verizon Fios. What I'm doing here that's different is I'm combining 3 different internet connections. I've gone with Starlink as a main provider here, but I wanted to go one step further. I also added the T-Mobile home internet service to my setup, but I didn't just get one, I actually purchased 2 of them. And if you're wondering why I need that in addition to my Starlink, I do IT for a living, so having a solid internet connection was really critical. Additionally, I do these videos on YouTube, which I really enjoy, so I wanted to make sure I always had a connection. But by far the best reason is that I'm able to combine all 3 of those connections together. It enables me to get much more speed than I could alone. So I'm paying $200 a month for 3 different internet connections. To get television, I add YouTube TV. The device you're going to need to combine them all is an internet router, but you're not going to be able to get by with just a regular one. There are products like MikroTik, Ubiquiti, Firewalla, and some others that say that they can combine multiple internet links, and they can, but for the most part, they will max out at 2 connections. I needed to find a router that could combine 3 or 4 internet connections into one, not cost me a lot of money, and the product I ended up choosing was a TP-Link router. What's unique about TP-Link is they have a model that costs $60 that can also do 2 WAN connections. And originally I did purchase that box, I fooled around with it, and it seemed to work just fine. So I upgraded to their next model. This is the model that can handle up to 3 wide area network connections. It not only allows you to put those connections together, you can change the settings so you can weight the connections. Now by weight I mean setting them up so that Starlink, for example, may only have a download speed of 100 to 150 meg. You can program that into the TP-Link router through a simple web interface. It will determine which is the best connection to use. Typically, advanced features like that are usually part of very high-end routers from companies like Cisco. Now a year later after using it, I can tell you the box is very solid. Even their top-of-the-line model that they just came out with sells for about $500. The features are essentially the same. This one has a couple of 10 gig ports. It also has these SFP ports that allow you to use fiber inside your switch. Now you might think on a home network nobody's going to have fiber, but out here I am actually running it because my barn is about 250 feet away. And the cables run underground. I actually made a video showing you guys where I pulled these wires pre-terminated, which is not that easy to do, and I pulled 2 of them all the way back to my house. I have tried all 3 models of the TP-Link router. Currently here you can see that I've got the ER8411. The feature set is actually identical all the way down to the $59 model. After using this ER8411 for about 5 months, I really just didn't see any extra value. So if I was doing this today, I would still stick with a TP-Link router, but I would not bother with the highest end model. I like this $59 one as well as the ER7206. How do you plug all of these things in? Now let's start with Starlink. Starlink made a really bad decision a few years ago by eliminating the Ethernet port that used to be on every Starlink router. Fortunately, they do sell an accessory. This little box costs around $40. You plug it in line with your Starlink router, and now you have that same Ethernet port that they used to give you for free. But before you hate these guys, Starlink does do one incredibly great thing that allows you to utilize this in your home network with a third-party router. You simply go into your Starlink app and you put your Starlink router in bypass mode. That means your Starlink router will now pass all of its information directly to your TP-Link or whatever brand router that you put behind it. This makes networking quite a bit easier, and that takes care of Starlink. But now we've got a problem because when we go to T-Mobile, you might think this is fantastic. It not only has 1 Ethernet port, it's actually got 2 of them. But unfortunately, T-Mobile's home internet service is typically sold to folks that are just going to use it with the built-in wireless connection, and these Ethernet ports are normally used for someone plugging a computer directly into them. In fact, we're going to plug another router into them. Now that will technically work, and that's the only way it can work because T-Mobile doesn't offer any type of a bypass mode. You've got to remember, T-Mobile owns these routers. They're included in your monthly fee, but if you discontinue service, you have to return them. They've got built-in antennas, and you may live in an area where your signal is great and they just work perfectly right out of the box. But in a rural setting like I am, you want to boost your signal as much as possible. Why wouldn't you want more speed if you could get it? And in a previous video, I showed you exactly how to do that by using this antenna from the company Waveform. This includes a kit that allows you to plug into your router. Once you've added this antenna, you will typically get at least 40% greater speeds, and in my case, I was almost able to double my speed, because once you play with that antenna a bit, you get it pointed directly at your tower, and now you can boost your speed and throughput tremendously. But now back to T-Mobile and plugging it in. We'll start by plugging one cable into the LAN 1 port on the back of the T-Mobile device, and then easy enough, the other end will go right into one of the WAN ports on the TP-Link router. But as I said, there's no bypass or special routing mode. And you're not doing anything illegal or breaking a rule. You're still using the internet service properly, but you are creating a small problem. It's referred to as double natting. But I can tell you after a year and a half of doing this, I have not noticed anything at all. We do use online gaming, we stream high definition videos, but it's never been a problem for me, so this is still an integral part of my entire setup. With all three of these connections plugged in, you're basically ready to go. On my network, I also use this router to do DHCP, meaning it will hand out IP addresses to all the equipment I have on my inside network. Now we need a way to distribute it. That's where we need to talk about getting the network spread across my house, my barn, and even outside of my yard. Now Starlink and both of those T-Mobile routers will provide local Wi-Fi. You could use them if you have a small network, but for me, I knew I needed about a dozen wireless access points. Some of them were going to go outdoors, and I wanted to spend as little money as possible. So I bought several TP-Link access points, and I can say that after a year, I'm very pleased with them. Now they do have a central management system, and you do need to purchase one small controller. Now again, TP-Link makes different models. This is their Omada controller. You can host it in the cloud. I didn't want to pay any kind of service fees. So you can buy one of these boxes for about 50 bucks, and this is the brain of sorts that runs all of your access points, and it can also manage things like computer network switches as well. And this is another area that I made a mistake. I went ahead and bought their larger controller thinking that it would be better for my network, but I saw no changes on my home network. If you're going to get into this and you're going to choose TP-Link and Omada, I would recommend their smaller controller that's 50 bucks. Once your controller's in place, all you need to do is add your devices. Now this is where having a managed Wi-Fi system is fantastic, because if you're adding 1 or 10, all of the settings can get propagated throughout your network. I have small ones in my basement where it's a pretty modern part of my house, but upstairs my house looks really old, and the last thing I wanted was a really bright access point kind of on the ceiling. So here I hid it inside of a closet. There's still enough ventilation in here so it's not going to overheat. I chose to hardwire my access points. Now many of you may just say that I'm old school, and that may be the case, but if you can hardwire your access points, in most cases that will make your life easier, and it guarantees that you'll have no wireless type of interference trying to run those access points. I do have one special access point that is distributing wireless outside my house. You may have seen that video where I put an outside access point that runs off of a solar panel. It's contained in something that kind of looks like a small outhouse. There's no cables. So what I did is I put this access point into a mesh mode, and it beams the signal all the way back to my barn. In the corner of my barn, you can see this small access point. Now I actually spray painted this to match the color of the barn. So again, I'm trying to kind of hide this technology so it doesn't stand out. The nice benefit of mesh is, even though this is sending a signal to that access point down in my field, it also gives me a signal around it. You could continue putting stations like this one after the next and spreading your mesh network out. Now out of my barn here, I do have one other unique box. You may have noticed this thing with an antenna on the top. This is not a regular internet router, though it does have an Ethernet port. This is a 900 megahertz kind of sensor type of network. This is made by the company called iMonit. This company specializes in making monitoring sensors. I've got an in-ground propane tank, and last year, on Christmas Eve, I realized I had about 4% propane left. Now I had only been in the house for about 3 months, so I wasn't familiar with what was going on quite yet, but there was another problem. I wasn't able to get a propane delivery because we had so much snow here at the time and mud in the driveway, but I did not want that to happen in the future. Now you certainly can go over and read the gauge on the propane tank. It's normally covered with snow. Using this iMonit setup, they make a direct gauge that goes onto the tank, and provided that you've got Wi-Fi like I do, now I can read this tank tank anytime I want, and it is accurate. I can see it right down to the individual percent. So now I have an alert set to let me know when the tank gets to 30% so that I know that I need to get a fill right away. Now in total, I'm using about 140 internal IP addresses, and it's not really computers. I'm using the Lutron lighting system that I've made some videos on. Additionally, I'm using a number of on-cue garage door openers. Now for some of you guys that are living in a log cabin, you might say all this is just too much. None of the equipment I'm running needs the internet to operate. All the power can go out here, I can lose all of my connections, everything can fail, and life still goes on. But in my previous video, I got many comments saying that I should try out the company Ubiquiti stuff, and I would certainly like to do that. And on my rural setup, I can tell you that the TP-Link stuff has worked really well. It's affordable, it's easy to use. I've tried to really give you guys an overview and show you some of the things that I'm doing. But if you'd like to know more about what I've done, or you have suggestions for how I could do something better, be sure to leave me a comment below. And if you found this video helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the Silver Symbol channel if you want to see more videos coming up.